Hello, hello. Can anybody hear me? Let's see if we can get this audio check in here working correctly. Make sure you guys can hear me here. Hey, TJ, are you able to log on to Facebook and make sure we have audio with our wonderful First Alert desk for me, please, this fine Friday? Uh, Audio check, audio check. Can you hear me? Not on Facebook. We don't do, let me see. We don't do Facebook anymore. I'm sorry, YouTube. My bad. 1 second, guys. We're going to make sure we can do this the correct way. Any audio? You can hear me? Perfect. All right. All right, guys. Had to make sure we had some audio there. Otherwise, what's the point? Thank you so much for joining me here this fine Friday. Happy June 23rd. I guess we've got one more Friday in June before we enter July. And I'm only saying that because one of the first stories I'm going to be talking about here is what's coming up next weekend, July 1st. Look Up Atlanta is hitting Centennial Olympic Park once again. A wonderful display of fireworks, food, and family fun going to be taken over. And we're going to have it all live right on Peachtree TV. You are more than welcome to get some tickets. Go to our website. We've got tickets on sale right now for general admission beginning at $10. So if you want to VIP it up, $50 for you per head if you bring your family, and that includes a ticket, a front row seat, access to food, games, and everything else that you would normally expect from a VIP experience at any kind of show, especially one of this caliber. And on top of the fireworks, the food, and the fun, a lot of the Atlanta News First team is going to be out there as well. It's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot going on, and it's going to be a great opportunity for you to either meet us, meet some of your Atlanta neighbors, and experience everything that is great about the 4th of July. We're going to check in with Patrick Pete in a little bit to talk a little bit about the weather, not only next weekend, but of course this weekend as well. And if you want to get your tickets, go ahead to AtlantaNewsFirst.com. We've got QR codes in all of our shows and all over our social media as well, along with that link so you can find all the information you need to make sure that you and your family are ready and prepared for Look Up Atlanta. I'll touch on that more as we move forward. There's a couple of other stories I want to get to here at the First Alert Desk before we touch back on that. And the first one is kind of one of the ones that's really been captivating a lot of the world these last couple of days. We get more and more information probably every hour about this Titan submersible that now we know suffered a catastrophic implosion off the coast of the Northeast Atlantic from our country here in the U.S. The latest update includes that, I guess in a weird, twisted way, we now know that these 5 people on board did not suffer in any way because that catastrophic implosion, as I said, happened in a fraction of a millisecond, according to scientists. When you are down that low and you've got basically the weight of the Eiffel Tower on your submersible, as soon as it goes, it cracks. There is no time in between the start and the finish. And we're also getting a lot more details on the design of this submersible. A lot of other ocean floor explorers are coming out and saying how this wasn't designed in the best way because it's a tube, not a sphere. A sphere very well does a very good job at evening out the pressure on the vessel as it descends, and it becomes stronger as the pressure equally hits all sides. A tube, not so much, because you had 2 sides which were metal and plastic on one side with a window, and the other side was metal, and in the middle was carbon fiber of the Titan. And we don't know exactly what happened yet, but you have 3 different types of materials that are all going to bend, break, and crack at different levels. So if one of them goes, you have an uneven support system, which is what a lot of people are suggesting happened here. But we do have much more that's coming down as far as this Titan implosion goes, this tragedy, losing all 5 of those people. Here is the latest from CBS.
The site of the world famous shipwreck is now the site of a new tragedy. A Titanic-bound submersible has been found in pieces, and the U.S. Navy reports detecting an acoustic signature consistent with a catastrophic implosion on the day the sub descended to the site this past Sunday.
The location of the Titan submersible was in an area that was approximately 1,600 feet from the wreck of the Titanic.
The 5 people on board have been pronounced dead. Their loved ones and many people around the world are now in mourning.
I just feel terrible for the families that had to go through all these false hopes that kept getting dangled, as it played out.
As to what caused the catastrophic implosion, that's under investigation.
If the Coast Guard is remaining there, as part of the collection or recovery, that's somewhat unusual.
The CEO of the submaker, OceanGate, is among the dead. OceanGate's safety practices are now in question, but the company's co-founder is cautioning people not to rush to judgment.
There are teams on site that are still going to be collecting data for the next few days, weeks, maybe months, and it's going to be a long time before we know exactly what happened down there.
In Boston, I'm Chris Wynn.
It's a sad story, a sad update as well. And so we are waiting to get answers about how this happened. You heard them talking about the safety precautions being questioned at this hour. That's going to be happening for a while now because it could take investigators days, weeks, or months to really get an answer as to what caused this very likely catastrophic implosion. The next story I want to touch on here is one that's more local, right here in North Fulton County. We've got a situation happening at the North Fulton County Detention Center that involves one of the detention center officers there. He's on body camera putting a woman who was arrested for public drunkenness in a chokehold, and that body camera was released today as a part of the end of their investigation, I should say. And it shows this officer who had her in a chokehold. You can see hands around her neck there. You see that right around that woman's neck. She then collapses to the floor. After being choked out, she was unconscious for a matter of 30 or 40 seconds, according to the reports, and then taken to the hospital. We reached out to her family today. We did not get the update on the condition of that woman. She is expected to be alive, but that officer has been fired and is facing charges, including violation of the oath of office, which is, of course, a pretty big, severe accusation to go against the detention officer. It's a hard video to watch in many cases where you have this woman being choked on camera like that, on body cam video. But the police department, the sheriff's office, Pat Labat, came out and said those actions are indefensible and there is nothing he can say to make anything about that better outside of awarding and rewarding the officers who quickly responded once that woman went down. Once they noticed what was happening, they had her medical attention within, I think, 30 seconds of her hitting the floor like that. Of course, this lawsuit is now moving forward, and we'll let you know as we get more details on exactly what happened there in that detention center. And the last story I want to talk to you guys about is a sad one. It's a good update to a sad story we've been following now for a little while. Bre'Asia Powell, a teenage girl who was shot outside of Benjamin E. Mays High School weeks ago. 2 people have been arrested in her murder, and they've been charged with her murder as well. Bre'Asia was a senior at Benjamin E. Mays High School. She was outside of the school at an unregistered graduation party, I should say. Unauthorized is a better word. And so 2 people have been arrested, and I'm going to read you out their names here really quick once I can pull them up here. But the family's been talking about Bre'Asia for a while. She was a star athlete. She was told a great person, loved everybody, wouldn't hurt a fly, and she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. She was not a target of this shooting, and police are still working to figure out exactly how that shooting started and how in the world a high schooler is not only with guns in that area, but also getting shot and killed in that area. Her family continues to mourn. Atlanta News First has been following up on this. We've been at the vigil. The funeral was a couple of weeks ago, and I've got those 2 names, Jaquan Withers and Willie Dennis. Jaquan Withers is 18. Willie Dennis is 19. Both of them arrested and charged in connection to Bre'Asia's death, and the police department says that there may be more arrests on the way. Happy Friday to you all. I'm sorry I had to end it on a sad note there, but at least now they're making progress in this investigation and the death of that teenage girl who honestly was just trying to celebrate finishing out high school. Now she will not have the opportunity to age. Moving forward, I'm going to bring in Patrick Pete as promised. He's going to talk a little bit about the weather this weekend. It's been a rainy couple of days here. Friday was kind of nice. It was kind of nice. It was decent. But apparently Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be pretty dry for most of you out there, so you'll be able to enjoy it. Patrick Pete, you can go ahead and take it away, my man.
Yes, sir. The forecast looking a whole lot better the next couple of days. I do think Saturday is going to be the drier of the 2 days. We are watching for a low-end chance for some showers on Sunday, but mainly isolated. We think that the closer you are to the Georgia-Alabama border, that's going to be the better opportunity for you to get some of those showers. And then we'll have a first alert for our Monday, and we've dialed back on the rain chances just because we're not expecting it to be as intense as guidance has been bringing that system in, but we still expect some rain and an isolated rumble of thunder before we see a dry middle of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday looking great. Friday, we're watching another system that could throw some moisture our way as we head into the weekend. So let's get you ready for this weekend because tomorrow's forecast is looking pretty solid. We are looking at lots of sunshine earlier on. Some high clouds will trickle in as we head into the afternoon. We are keeping things mainly dry as we head throughout all day part. So a really good day to maybe get out early in the morning, hit the links if that's your thing. Temperatures are going to be near 70 degrees for the start of the day, climbing into the 80s pretty quickly. We'll be at 81 by 12 o'clock and then in the upper 80s by the time people like me are getting ready to get out of the pool. Meanwhile, your Sunday Fun Day forecast is looking good to start. We're going to be talking about mid to upper 60s. And even as we approach lunchtime, those numbers are still pretty solid. We're in the upper 80s, but you can see that line of showers and thunderstorms moving through portions of Alabama. As it sinks further south and east, we do expect it to weaken, but that means there is that low-end chance for a stray shower. So we're talking about roughly 20% chance for some showers and thunderstorms late Sunday afternoon. If you have plans to maybe do any Sunday Fun Day activities, just with this low-end likelihood of seeing some of those, it'll be a good idea to go ahead and scan that QR code or just download the First Alert Weather app because we'll be able to tell you whenever those pop-ups are starting to fire up and if they're close to you. We'll let you know if there's lightning as well. Meanwhile, clearing out as we head into the evening, but it's going to be warm Sunday night. I know most of us don't work third shift because we're at work now, but if you are working third shift, it's going to be a warm drive to work, near 75 degrees at midnight, so definitely going to be a little toasty. We're going to be in the upper 80s on Saturday, but that's that first, on Monday, that's that first alert. We were talking about showers and thunderstorms being possible as that system pushes through, and then temps are going to hover in the upper 80s as we head through the rest of the work week. 90 degrees. It's looking warm next weekend, y'all, so just go ahead and be prepared for it. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Brett continues to fizzle out. Wind sustained at 50 miles per hour. It's moving as fast as it's ever moved at 21 miles per hour to the west. We are expecting it to gradually weaken as we head through the next couple of days. So by early Sunday morning, this is just going to be a remnant low. Expecting Tropical Cindy to succumb to a similar fate. Right now, those winds are sustained at 50 miles per hour. It's about 815 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. It is in a favorable atmosphere, at least for the next 24 hours, so we could see those winds bump up a little bit, but the overall trajectory is for this system to weaken as well. It's going to move into an area where we're going to have a stationary boundary hanging off of the coast. That's going to present some wind shear. Not to mention, there's a little bit of Saharan dust out there now, too. So two things working against Cindy, not expecting much from that storm either. Meanwhile, closer to home, we're watching Sunday afternoon closely. We may have to throw that up to 30%, but for now, we're keeping it at 20. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a little humid as well, so just be prepared for that. First alert for the rain that arrives on Monday, and then we are dry Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, hovering near 90 degrees each day. A few more clouds arrive on Friday. Slight chance for a stray shower. Listen, y'all, I know that everybody is looking forward to next weekend. Your First Alert Weather team is already looking at that Saturday forecast. Right now, we're not going to say anything because we're not liking what we see. The good news, you can tune in tomorrow. Cutter Martin is going to have that in his 7-day forecast. Hopefully, it trends a little bit drier for now. It's looking hot for sure. So you want to stay on top of that forecast and maybe even join us out there. We're going to be out there all afternoon and evening as well. So looking forward to my first look at Atlanta. Yeah, it's going to be my first one. So maybe I'll see you there. Leave you guys with the 7-day forecast so that you can make plans for Saturday, so that you can be aware that we are watching at least for some isolated showers Sunday afternoon. And as of now, that first alert for Monday looks like we'll still see some rain across parts of our area as that frontal boundary pushes through. See you guys at 10. Meteorologist Fred Campagna is going to have an update at 9 and 11 again tonight on Atlanta News First.